Page 74, Prelude in C major from the Well-Tempered Clavier, Volume 1 by J.S. Bach. This supposedly is in the original like Bach wrote it. However, it's an edited version, so it's not exactly the original. Let's talk about it. Right hand first. We just have these broken chords. So take these first three notes in the right hand together. It's a C chord. And if you take the first three notes of each of these groups, you're going to find them, each one is a chord. Wherever it is, they're all chords. Whatever. They're broken. Don't let these 16th notes bother you. We'll come back to that later. Just play them evenly. I'm just rocking the hand back and forth, just transferring weight from finger to finger. The whole thing is that way. Till you get over to page 77, last line, then we finish it off. You have bass clef here. Here. Watch this fingering. That's okay. Just smooth the legato even all the way with the fingers. And then treble clef for the second measure here. Fourth finger on the D. And then the last chord is 2, 3, 5. I like that. To connect it. Left hand has two voices going on. You got the first voice with the stems going down. Half notes. This is like the bass. It's a bass continuo. It's like you got a string bass or something, they're just playing this note. Whatever the note is, it's not always a C. Sometimes it goes down to other notes too. Isn't that nice of it? The other voice right above it, stem going up, that's another voice. And it's tied, so you can hold on to it. And it's going around for whatever, and then two voices together, they overlap. You get them together. Hold them down with the fingers. Play it as legato as you can with the fingers. The whole thing is that way. You're going to move around a little bit, but that's basically what the left hand is doing. Now you can't connect everything legato with the fingers because of the movements in the left hand. But do the best you can with it. And their fingering in the book is fine. Page 77 at the bottom, you're in octaves. This is the last four measures or so. You're here. Again, hold them both down. If the piano's in tune, it would be better. See the next to the last measure? It's a B. Sounds terrible. That's what he did. So here. It'll sound better with the right hand. Speaking of right hand, you're kind of playing all these voices the same. So it's not like you have to bring out the melody. It's all melody, sort of. Just make sure you hold the left hand down. In case this rhythm is bothering you, I don't know how well you're understanding the rhythm. The point is it's in common time or 4/4 time, and so a quarter note gets a count, and the 16th notes 1E and a 2E and a 1E, because it's a 16th note rest in the left hand, 1E, and then immediately 1E and 1E and a 1E and a. So it's like 4 16th notes. You just got to rest on the first one. And you're just doing a lot, this is just a lot of color, and the harmony is just, Now on page 77, at the bottom, again we're finishing it up, so the last two lines you're down here. Now, Bach didn't really put in dynamics so much as you're supposed to know them. Well, go ahead and follow their dynamic suggestions, and they are just suggestions. But that mezzo forte at the beginning, that's all the notes. What is moderately loud to you? stay there until the bottom of the page on 74. Now it's soft. Then top of page 75, come up a little bit. Soft again. Stay there until you get down to the third line, last measure. You're going to crescendo a little bit. Doesn't say how much, just a little bit. It's one of those things you don't have to crescendo much because the harmony gives the illusion of crescendoing. This is tension in here. Then the last measure you come down. Slowly. You're slowly diminuing the wing. You're slowly getting softer. So at the top of page 76, second measure there on the first line, you're very soft here. Second line, you start getting a little louder, not much. Then the third line, come back down soft. By the way, in the third line, second measure in the right hand, if you don't want to put a thumb on that, you can do that 2, 3, 5. Tension build up, you can start getting a little louder. Not much, just a little bit. Again, a little louder. Now you're loud. Take your time getting softer. Now you're soft. And this, slow down a little bit. Poco ritornando, slow down a little bit. And then it's soft. The idea is to get to know the music well enough you can feel these getting louder and this tension and growing and so forth. The only real problem I see here is turning the page. Because if you don't have it memorized, you got to be able to turn the page without messing up the beat. And everything is important. You can't really leave anything out. What do you do? So that's a problem. And I'll have to let you work that out. What you can do is play it all with the right hand there, like in the last measure, page 77 here. But don't hold. Just play it all in the right hand. It's a 2, 3, 1, or 1, 2. It's up to you. Something so you can at least get in all the notes until you can get the page turned. Or you get somebody to turn the page for you. Or memorize the piece, and that's actually the preference. Just memorize the piece. You don't have to worry about it. I could tell you make a copy of the page and put them out here, but I can't tell you that because it's copyrighted music and it wouldn't be right for me to encourage you to break the copyright. I've already been having problems with copyrights on these videos. So do the best you can with turning the page. Now they've included pedal indications here. They want you to use pedal and putting it down here with the right hand. When I studied Bach in college, I was never allowed to use pedal. Now, this was originally written for like harpsichord, an instrument without pedal. So in my opinion, you don't need pedal here. You're doing a finger pedal, which means the fingers are doing the work of the pedal. In other words, they're holding the notes down so they can sound out long. In the left hand, that's finger pedaling this so it sounds out the whole time. Otherwise, you don't need it. You're gonna see, but you finger pedal them and they sound out. When you use a regular pedal, you get it all. But I was taught when using Bach or playing Bach, we don't use pedal. I'm not going to cover it in this video. If you want to use pedal, you go right ahead. It's a personal thing. Some performers will use pedal, some don't. I'm sure if Bach had a piano with pedal that he would have used pedal like everybody else, but he didn't. And so there's a big again, people don't agree on how this stuff should be played or interpreted. So I'll leave that up to you and your teacher to figure that out.